Hey, we're back here on Gadgetplex. The subject is using Skype. The subject is using various tools to be able to keep from sending quite as much money to the wireless carriers as maybe you have in the past. In our first segment, we talked about the use of Skype, some of the mobile applications in order to try and get that cost down, the cost of communicating, not only computer to computer, but computer to other mobile phones. And of course, Skype and Apple FaceTime and OVO, there are a number of ways that you can do that. But Phil May from TechnoRV is here to answer the other question. How do you replace that landline if you are a part-timer? What's your recommendation there?
So there's a couple of options, and we went through this maybe I guess 4.5 years ago when we decided that we were going to go full-time, basically two simple ways. The first one is it's actually a really cool product, and it won PC Magazine Best Product of the Year award in 2009, and it's called Magic Jack. Basically, what it is, it's like a little small flash drive, it looks like. And what you do is you plug it into the side of your computer, and then at the other end, you will connect to any basically normal telephone. You just take the telephone out of the wall, plug it into this little Magic Jack, and then the phone behaves exactly the same as it normally would, but it uses the computer's internet connection instead of the regular telephone wires. So, not only is it easy, but it can save you a lot of money. I mean, when you buy one of these Magic Jacks, it's about $40 for the hardware, and that includes all of the calls, basically unlimited calling within the United States for 1 year. And then after that, it's $20 a year. Yeah. So, you can imagine how that would compare if you're a reasonable telephone user, or if you have teenagers like I do.
Yeah. Well, I had used the Magic Jack, and one of the things that I really liked about that particular unit was the ability to use various consumer RJ11, that standard phone plug connector, which is available not only on all sorts of telephone instruments, but on accessories such as the caller ID readers or the voice recorders, the phone machines. Is that still the best way to get those services when using the Magic Jack, or does Magic Jack, have they improved their service to add some sort of voicemail or answering machine capability to their offerings?
So they have some kind of, I think, more basic type services. And you're right, I think one of the beauties of it is that you can reuse your existing phone systems that you have. Maybe you've invested in some wireless hands-free phones, so you can walk around the house. It's a shame that you have to buy those again with Magic Jack. You just plug it into the socket, like you say. If you're looking for some of the, I would say, more advanced and more modern type facility that you can get with voice over IP, then a better bet would be a service that I actually use still to this day, even though we've closed down our landline, and that's from a company called Vonage. What Vonage is, it's kind of like a virtual telephone service. So you subscribe to it. It's still very inexpensive. It's about $12 a month is what it starts at, and then it goes up a little bit from there. What you do with that is you have basically a sort of again a socket fits in the wall, and then you connect your telephone into that. But the coolest thing about it is that you can program it going onto a website, and then start basically defining all the features that you'd like call forwarding, like voicemail. You can actually have a service where it will email any voicemail that you get to you, so that no matter where you are, if you're traveling and you've got a smartphone, you can listen to your voicemail just by pressing on the email. It's very cool. And we've got a service which is visual voicemail, where it'll, and I'd love to see the software that does this, but the software listens to your voicemail and then kind of transcribes it and sends it to you as a text email, which is pretty cool. So there's all these features that you can get with something like Vonage, all very inexpensively. And the other nice thing about it is it doesn't matter where you are. So I was going to tell a story about when we were in Mexico one time. I took the Vonage box with me, plugged it into the internet, and I was able to make local calls to the Bay Area from Mexico, or indeed any calls, anybody that would call my local Bay Area number, a 408 number, it would ring in Mexico, and they wouldn't know any difference. So it's very, very cool. And so, not only were we saving a lot of money, but we were able to have some extra features and facilities that were very useful for us.
Yeah. If you were a part-time RVer, let's say that during the summer months you would live in a place like Michigan or Wisconsin, but you were a snowbird, and part of the year as a part-time RVer you would go to Florida or one of the southern states. If you replaced your Vonage, or if you replaced your regular phone number that you may have had for some years, can you keep your existing number, or do you have to take some strange area code and strange exchange number?
That's one of the nice features that appeal to so much about Vonage, is you can actually keep your existing number. So the key to that is don't cancel your landline before you've taken out the Vonage. Otherwise, as soon as you cancel it, that number disappears. It goes back into a pool. So you basically sign up for your Vonage, say you want to transfer your number, they'll contact whoever is your provider. In our case, I think it was an AT&T landline, and then you just transferred it over. So again, my point about people, our friends never needed to have a new number, and they would just call the same number, and it would just be routed through to us down in Mexico, or when we were over in the United Kingdom, we took the box with us as well. It doesn't cost them any more. They didn't know any difference. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, there is a similar device that I've used for a number of years. The way that Vonage is set up, they have a monthly fee, which I think is about $12 a month. There is another service called Ooma, O-O-M-A. And I know that the Ooma box is available at big box retailers. And Ooma's approach is you pay all that up front, and then you never pay past that time. And I've had one Ooma box now for, I guess, 3 years, so I've well recovered my investment. And actually, we have another one that we use here at RVNN TV. And so that's been a very useful package as well. So if you're in the market for these sorts of devices, you might look at Vonage, and also take a look at Magic Jack and also at Ooma. That's that.
The other thing I will say,
Andy,
and it's just a point to mention, is that a lot of these voice over IP services don't have a 911 facility. So that may or may not be important to you, but it is worth remembering that that it's not, you don't have the ability just to pick it up and dial 911 as you do on a normal landline. That's one of the big differences.
That is in fact one of the shortcomings. And actually, there's some shortcomings to some of these other systems that could hit you right in the pocketbook, and we'll be talking about those on the next segment of Gadgetplex. Stay with us.
Got a question or comment for Gadgetplex's Phil May? Send him an email at gadgetplex@rvnn.tv, or leave a voicemail for Phil at 877-578-RVNN, extension 703. Follow RV Newsnet on Facebook and Twitter, and you can receive text messages to alert you when we're streaming live by texting RVNN to 72727. That way, you can join us live in the chat room, ask questions, and become part of the RV Newsnet family. Remember, any photos or other material submitted to us become the property of RV Newsnet and cannot be returned. For more TV like this from the world of RVs, head to rvnn.tv.